Minash-Shaytanir-Rajeem. Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. Welcome back to yet another module in our series of teacher education program, online teacher education program brought to you, organized by Markazi Talimi Board and Education Wing of Jamaat Islami in New Delhi. The last few classes, the last three classes were based on psychology, especially psychology of the child, of how children would learn. We understood that. We understood the mindset of a child and how the learning would happen and what are the areas on which a teacher needs to concentrate. We understood what is cognitive skills, we understood what is physical skill, we understood what is social, economical, or probably social and emotional skills. We also understood the different theories given by different psychologists at different times, starting from John Piaget to Vygotsky, then we had Benjamin Bloom, then we had Howard Gardner. We also understood what Maria Montessori talks about, especially when you are teaching the foundation years. Now we are going ahead with how when we get into the classroom, now we know what is the mindset, we know the child psychology. Now when we get into the classroom, what methodology do we adapt to teach the children? Or I would say, to make them understand the topic, what method do you adapt? Now the methodologies might be different, but to make them understand any methodology when you adapt, what we need to be very sure is how, what, when, why, and where. These 5 questions. We need answers for these 5 questions. How would we teach them? When do we teach them? Why do we teach them? What do we teach them? Where do we teach them? Where do you teach them in the sense, do you conduct the class in your classroom? Or do you take them outside the classroom in an open air field? Or you take them on a field visit, or you take them into a science lab, you take them into an exhibition, you take them into a museum, you take them into a world of charts completely defined by world maps, educational maps. Do you take them on a river side? Where do you take them? I don't know where I would take them, because I don't even know what is my next class, because I have not done my planning. Yes, we are going to talk about planning today, and this would contain 3 modules in this series of planning. That is what we call lesson planning. The topic what we would be teaching, what kind of planning is required. Have you ever seen anybody working without a plan? Even when you walk into the kitchen, do you walk into the kitchen without a plan of what to cook? Don't you decide what to cook in the morning the previous night? You may discuss it with your parents, you may discuss it with your, if you are a housewife, if you are married, you would check with your husband, or you would check with your parents, or you would check with your brothers and sisters, you would check with your children, or you would check with your members in the family, and then you would say, yes, tomorrow this is what I want to cook. Now if you are going to cook that, are you going to walk into the kitchen and you expect all the vegetables to be there You expect the oil to be there, you expect all the ingredients which are used to cook. The entire recipe is available to you on your desk. Will it be available for you, or would you sit down and plan, okay, I need oil, I need the ingredients, I need vegetables, do I have? I don't have. Then I need to tell somebody to buy the vegetables for me. How many people are there? Okay, there are 4 of us. Tomorrow one more person is joining. Totally 5 of us. I need to cook for 5 members for afternoon lunch. Do we eat the same dish? Do we eat the same curry in the evening? Then I need to plan and cook for 10 people. That is 5 of us would eat in the afternoon. The same 5 would repeat and eat in the evening dinner, night. So I need to cook for lunch and dinner both. So this is a planning which happens. Girls in the class, if you are not done cooking, you go back and ask your mom. And the boys who don't cook, you go back and ask your mom what kind of planning, or you observe your mom what kind of planning she does. She may not write it down, but she's definitely got a plan in the brain. You walk into a research center. If somebody is trying to launch a satellite, what kind of planning happens? A satellite is not launched overnight. The head of the institute decides tomorrow we are going to launch Chandrayaan, and Chandrayaan was not launched just overnight. A planning was done, and the planning might have been for almost 3 years, sometimes it is for 2 years, sometimes it is for 1 year. But there is a plan which was jotted down, which was discussed, which was debated, and then the plan was executed. If as a speaker, if I want to conduct a workshop, I need to plan what I would speak for the next 40 minutes. So what is this lesson planning all about? The teachers who have done B.Ed know what is lesson plan. More or less, I am going to discuss the same thing. Exception is that I may add a few parameters here, which I would say that you need to have this also in your planning system. Now coming to the teachers who think that I've been teaching for the last 15 years, sir. My subject is mathematics and I know everything like this. I really don't need a plan. What I teach, what is the theorem I am going to teach? Pythagoras theorem. Sir, I know what is a Pythagoras theorem. Why do I just draw a Pythagoras theorem on the board? I would draw a right angle triangle and then I would start teaching. This is for the senior class. Now we are talking to the foundation teachers. The foundation teachers would tell, I know what is to be taught, number names, anyone I know very well. If I'm an Urdu teacher, I know all the alphabets, sir. I need to teach Alif and then I go back to B. A, B I would do. I would teach vowels, so I know what are the vowels. I know what a circle time is. Why do I need to write a plan, sir? What do you think I've been doing for the last 15 years? And you still expect me to write a plan? This is what teachers tell me. And there are some teachers who really do a lot of planning before they walk into the class. And when I conducted, at a lot of times I have had teachers who come down for an interview. And as a panel member, when I ask them, what is that you do before you walk into a classroom? Or what kind of lesson planning would you do before you walk into the classroom? And many of the teachers, most of the time, the reply I get is, why do I have to plan, sir? I know everything, sir. You tell me I can walk into a class now and I'll teach. I don't need a plan. Believe me, I would not ask the next question to this interview. I would never come back and my next question would be XYZ. No, I would not ask them a question. I would rather give them a piece of information and I would say goodbye. I tell them I have told this to the teachers. I have told them, if you think you don't need a plan, before you walk into a class and you want to teach, 40 minutes you are teaching, and if you don't have a plan in your hand, a written plan I'm talking about, if you don't have a written plan on a paper or on a notebook, then I would say, if you think you don't need a lesson plan, I think I don't need you as a teacher in my school. Yes. If a teacher thinks that I don't need a lesson plan, I as a management head would definitely tell the teacher I don't need you as a teacher in our school. It's over. It's a full stop. There's no continuation for that person as a teacher, at least in my school. A lesson plan is must. A 40-minute plan is a must for a teacher. So we will discuss, teachers who are listening to this module, if you have not been doing lesson planning, and if you want to be a better teacher, if you want to get appreciated, that your students would come back to you after 25 years and say, ma'am, sir, thank you, sir. Hats off to you, sir, because you are the reason for my success. You have been a great teacher and I really love to tell you, and I'm proud to tell you that, sir, today if I am success as a teacher, it's because you were the best teacher in my life. If you want to listen to this, then you need to become a better teacher. And if you have to become a better teacher, you need to have a better plan on your hand when you walk into the classroom. The very first and foremost in lesson planning is, what are the strategies which you would adapt for teaching? What are those strategies? If somebody wants to go cycling on a weekend, what is the kind of strategy you would have? What is the kind of strategy you would have? Where do you start? How far would you go? When will you return? At what point would you turn back? What all do you carry? Whom all would you take along with you? All this planning is required. You see a tailor, nowadays you don't see tailors much, but when you see a tailor, he's got a strategy. He knows exactly how the cutting would happen for a piece of cloth. He's stitching a pant. He's got a plan to cut that piece of cloth before he starts stitching. A cook, you invite a chef for a function, and if you want him to cook something, he would start by giving you all those required material in a piece of paper. He would come 2-3 hours before, and you observe his cooking. He would have a strategy. He would exactly know when he would put oil, when he would put those ingredients, all those garam masalas or whatever he adds, when he needs to add vegetables into that, when he needs to add water into it. He's got a perfect plan, and he's also got a timeline set. After 2 minutes I'll put this, after 3 minutes I'll put this, after 4 minutes I'll put this, after 5 minutes I'll put this. That is a plan. That is a strategy. Now when all these professionals have a particular plan, We are molding teachers. Remember, we are mentors, we are not teachers. Remember, we are not giving instructions. We are inspirational personalities. We inspire our students who are there in front of us. We don't put information into the brain. We make them understand what they are learning. We guide them. We care for them. We prepare, we psychologically we support them. So when we are playing different roles, we are not a person who is only doing teaching. We are a mentor, and a mentor's role has got different hats which I need to wear. I need to wear a hat of caring when somebody is sick. If somebody is psychologically down, I need to psychologically support them. I need to wear a psychology hat. If somebody is down, I need to wear a hat of a clown. I need to become a joker. If somebody is sick, and if somebody is not in a mood, I need to become either Kishore Kumar, or I need to become, either I have to be a Lata Mangeshkar in the class. I am not saying as good as Kishore Kumar, or I may not sing as good as Lata Mangeshkar, but I need to become a singer. I may not dance as good as Prabhu Deva, or I may not dance as good as Michael Jackson, but I need to become a dancer in a classroom. I may not become the best mom on the earth, but still I need to become a mother in the classroom. I may not be the best friend, but I need to become a friend for that student in the classroom. You see the different roles a teacher is playing. And when you are playing different roles, do you think one strategy would be sufficient to teach these children? Definitely not. What are those strategies? Let us get into those strategies and see step by step. Let us understand what is that we need. When do we wear the different hats? The very first and foremost hat which I need to wear, I need to know, is the knowledge. I need to know the ABCDs. I need to know my rhyme. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. I need to know the rhyme. If I am teaching the foundation years, I need to know the tone. I need to know the tune. I need to know the rhythm of that particular alphabet rhyme when I am teaching alphabet. I need to know that after A it is B, and after B it is C, and after C it is D. I need to know it is A for apple, and I need to know it is B for ball. Yeah, I may change that to, I would say A for April. I would say B for basket. But definitely I need to know the sounds. I need to know the sound, the phonics. I need to know the vowels. I need to differentiate between vowels and consonants. I need to differentiate between the number names and numbers. I need to differentiate between the prime numbers, the odd numbers, and the even numbers. I need to know the formulas. Overall, I mean to say I should be very strong with my subject. If I am an English teacher, I should be strong with my literature, I should be strong with my grammar, I should be strong with my punctuality. Punctuality, not punctuation marks, punctuality. When do I teach what? The subject. I know I might be a PhD, or I would have done my MA in literature. It doesn't mean that I walk into a foundation class, that is I walk into a UKG and start teaching them Shakespeare's poem. Or I walk into a grade 1 class and I start teaching them Ruskin Bond's poem. Or I start teaching a difference between what is a prose and a poem. No. Subject knowledge and where exactly and how exactly at what particular stage I would use that subject which I know, and then I would teach the children. There are two things in this. Knowing the subject and delivering the subject at the right moment is important. The next comes planning. 40 minutes of class, what do I do the first 2 minutes? Oh, I would walk into a classroom, sir, and I would start sharing a joke. What joke? When I walk into the class, I'll see what joke I would share. अब अंदर क्लास में जाने के बाद, if you walk into the classroom, you will not, if you are not able to recollect the joke what you wanted to tell them, you will be wasting 2 minutes there. Remember, the children are paying for every minute they are in the school. And it is your duty and it is my duty to repay back that every second what I have been paid for. We all know very well that a month has 30 days or 31 days, or there is a month which might have 28 days or 29 days also. Right? Now, we are being paid for those number of days. We are being paid for those number of hours a day. We are being paid for those 60 minutes per hour, and we are being paid for 60 seconds per minute. We are being paid for every second. And if I am not doing justice to what I have been paid, and in that 40 minutes in the class, I need to teach 40 minutes. I can't play for 15 minutes and I can't teach for 15 minutes. I have to utilize that 40 minutes in teaching. So first 2 minutes I would share a story or I would share a joke. Do I have a story ready on my hand? Do I have a joke ready on my hand? Do I have an incident which I could inspire students? If I'm teaching them numbers, if I'm teaching them prime numbers, do I have a story or do I have an incident which would relate to prime numbers and keep them curious? Make them curious enough to keep waiting. Okay, sir is going to share a story. Do I have a plan? Do I have it on a paper? If the answer is no, then you really need to start planning. If you start planning, you will walk into the class. If you are not planning, then you walk out of the school. If you are planning, if you do a plan, you have a plan, then you walk into the class for the next 40 minutes. If you don't have a plan, and if you think planning is not required, then you walk out of the school gate forever and don't come back into the school again in life. Planning, every 2 minutes I'll do this, then the next 5 minutes I'll introduce the class or what topic I'm teaching. I'll ask them questions, I'll bring them to the topic, then I'll start a methodology. I would play a video, I'll show them the video for the first 5 minutes, and at the end of the video I'll explain the video to them, and then I'll ask them questions of what they have seen in the video. Then I'll switch off the video and then I'll start asking them questions and ask the students to explain what they have seen in the video. Then I have 3 questions related to video. I'll ask the 3 questions to them one by one. At the end of the class, I would summarize what we have done, and then I'll give them a homework and I'll walk out of the class. This is my plan for 40 minutes. Then your class would become interesting. If you don't have a plan, then your class would not be interesting at all. You may need a material. If you are teaching Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, you need stars. If you are teaching Baba Black Sheep, then you need a puppet of a sheep. If you are teaching Machli Jal Ki Rani hai, then you need a fish. If you are teaching numbers, then you need numbers flashcards. If you are telling a story, then you need all the puppets. If you are sharing a story of Little Red Riding Hood, then you need a puppet of a wolf. You need to become a grandmother, right? You just can't read a story like that. You need to have all the material. Imagine you walk into a kitchen and then just say, I just want to cook biryani today, or I just want to cook paneer today. You expect the paneer to come flying from the departmental store's refrigerator, come flying to your kitchen, into your kitchen, onto your kitchen table? Or you plan a day before and you go to the departmental store, pick up paneer and come back and start cooking the next day? Have you ever done cooking without a plan? If you have been cooking without a plan, you please do write to me and let me know how do you cook without a plan. I would be very happy to learn how cooking is done without a plan. So planning is important, and without a plan, please do not walk into a classroom. Do not play with the life of the children. You do not have, or I do not have any rights to play with the children's life, career. By just walking into the classroom and spending those 40 minutes which doesn't give any results, or which is not inspiring, where children are not learning, children are not understanding anything. You are just teaching using a chalk, and you are using a blackboard, and just you teach and explain everything, and then you walk out of the class. Children have written 2 on the board, they are writing 2 at the bottom, and then 2 is 1 plus 1, and then again 2 is 1 plus 1. So I say 2 plus 2 becomes 4. So when you add 2 and 2, it becomes 4, and you walk out. Children are wondering what is 2 and what is 4, what is 1 plus 1. There is no plan. And what happens? After 15 years and after 20 years, that boy would become like me, who doesn't even know how to find a percentage. I need a calculator, or I need a computer system to find a percentage. Now I'm not trying to blame my maths teacher, but that curiosity, that interest in the subject was not created by the person who taught me. Or probably I didn't show interest in that subject because I felt it was a dry subject. So planning, remember, planning is important. When you get up in the morning, you need to know what you're going to do. 3 periods I have before lunch. What do I do in the 3 periods? But for that, what you need to do really is, you have 11 chapters in a textbook. You have to teach number names from ONE 1 to FIFTY 50 in the whole year for a Prep 2 class, that is for a UKG class. If you have this as a part of your syllabus, then you need to plan and say, I would teach ONE 1 to TEN 10 in the first month of the year. In the second month, I would start from 11 and I would teach till 16. Third month, I would start from 17. I would teach them till 22. In the first class, I would only teach them what is a standing line, a sleeping line, a slanting line, a curve. I would teach them these lines first: standing, slanting, sleeping line, standing line, a cross line or a slanting line. a curved line. I would teach this for the next 3 months, and then I would start teaching them how to write A, B, C, D. So for the whole year, I have to teach this, and every month I would teach so much. Every week I would so much, and then you break it down to every day I would teach them so much. We have 210 days. Generally, we have 210 days across the country. This is a normal working days for a teacher, except I'm not talking about the COVID batch, and I'm not talking about the period which we are going through. I'm talking about the general school timings. 210 days, sometimes it is 180 days, sometimes. Overall, we have a specific number of days, and for those number of days, there is a textbook which is written by an expert, and he says you can teach these 11 chapters in this 210 days. Now teachers come and tell me, sir, मेरा syllabus ही खत्म नहीं हो रहा. I am not able to complete my syllabus, sir. Syllabus is too much, sir. बहुत syllabus है, sir. बहुत syllabus दे दिया, sir. ತುಂಬಾ ಸಿಲೆಬಸ್ ಕೊಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಸರ್. ಪಾಠ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. చాలా ఎక్కువ ఉంది సార్ సిలబస్. ఇది చెప్పాలంటే చాలా టైం కావాలా సార్. ఐఎమ్ టాకింగ్ తెలుగు అండ్ కన్నడ. And the language which I spoke, the end was Kannada and Telugu. Now tell me, the experts who have sat down and prepared that curriculum, do you think they didn't know that the teachers have 210 days? And you think they gave you extra syllabus? Definitely not. They very well knew that these 11 chapters could be completed in 210 days. But as a teacher, if I am not able to complete that in 210 days, I can't sit and blame the government, I can't sit and blame the NCERT panel or the curriculum planner and tell them they've just given extra lessons which are not important, sir. You don't know, I don't know. But the experts know that in 210 days, this is the syllabus which can be completed. At this age, this can be taught because they are better psychologists than you and me. They have done a perfect plan, and with that planning they have given us a curriculum. Whereas we teachers go back and say we are not able to complete because the syllabus is more. Actually, the problem here is we don't utilize that 40 minutes in teaching. We waste time. We go to the class late. We walk out of the class before the bell rings. We hardly spend 30 minutes in the class, and in that 30 minutes, nowadays teachers use 5 to 10 minutes in checking up the WhatsApp messages. So what is the time left? Time left is 15 minutes. How did I get a message? Did I checking out the TikToks? Or chatting with the teacher who is teaching in the next class. You know, I just been to the principal's room, I asked for an increment, the principal says we will not give increment. This is the kind of discussions which happen in the corridors of the classroom, of the school. Imagine if your school has got 100 children, there are 200 ears listening to you. So that 40 minutes of planning is utilized for teaching, then 210 days you will be able to complete 11 chapters easily. Honestly, I have never had this problem of syllabus is given more, sir, and I am not able to complete. In fact, I have been always ahead in completing the chapters, and my syllabus has been completed on dot in time. That is because I have never walked into a class without a plan on a paper. And today also, if I am conducting this, if I am taking up this training program, and if I am speaking to you through this module, I have a plan of talking to you. I have a plan speaking to you that I would speak for 45 minutes to 50 minutes. This is exactly what I would have. Lesson plan. What is a lesson plan? I'm going to teach this poem, I'm going to teach this rhyme, I need to introduce. Children should know what is a star before I start teaching twinkling, twinkling, twinkle, twinkle, little star. I need to show them the images of the star. I need to make a star out of a cardboard, or I need to put some sparkling material on that, make it sparkle and tell them these are the stars. Imagine you have a plan, you prepare a classroom, you put stars everywhere before children come into the school early in the morning, and when the children walk into the classroom, they see stars everywhere. They're so happy to see the classroom and they say, "Ma'am, there are so many stars in the classroom today." Yes, because we want to learn about a star. I will teach you a rhyme about a star. Or imagine you cut cardboards, you get a lot of cardboards, carton boxes. You cut sheep, goats. You draw a sheep on that with a pencil and you cut it and you place all the sheep and goats in the classroom. When children walk into the, "Ma'am, there are a lot of sheep in the classroom. Why do we do that? We are going to learn Baba Black Sheep today." This is planning. Lesson plan. So, what is the material you need? What is the methodology you adapt? What is the homework you give? What is the classwork you give? What kind of joke I would talk? I would tell the child. So, a lesson plan is all about that. Activity-based learning. Make the children do. Remember, a mentor, a teacher is somebody who opens the lid, pours the information, and closes the lid and says, "Okay, everything is passed." What I knew, I passed it to my children. This is a teacher, instructional teacher. And who's a mentor? Mentor is somebody who inspires students, who makes them do, who guides, who facilitates. Okay, children, take a piece of paper. There's a star on your table. Keep the star on the paper. Draw the outline of the star on the paper. There's a scissor kept. Take the scissor. Now let's start cutting. This is an activity which you're doing with children after you finish teaching them Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. They are now doing a craft work of they're cutting a star. You're instructing them. If you're a teacher, you will instruct them. If you're a mentor, what do you do? You also have a piece of paper, you also have a star, you hold it up and say, "Now you see children, I have a paper, I'm keeping the star on it. I'm drawing an outline to it, and this is my scissor, I'm going to cut this. The star is going to look like this when you cut. Now let us redo it again." Again you take a different piece of paper, again you keep a star on that, you start using, you draw the outline, you take a scissor and let's say, "Now let's start cutting." Everybody, 1, 2, 3, go. Everybody starts cutting the star. Finally, everybody is gone. Now I have some sparkling material. Let's put some gum on the paper and let's put some sparkling material on the gum. On the gum, so automatic the star is sparkling. Now everybody show your star. Tight to your hand. So you have 24 stars in the class plus 1, 25 stars in the class. If you are making 24 stars in the class, if you have 24 children in the class, then there has to be 25 stars in the class. 24 is what children will make and the 25th is the one which you make. This is activity based. If you are making 24 sheeps, if you have 24 students in the class, then you will make 25 sheeps. 24 is by the children and 1 is made by you. If you're getting 24 chocolates in the classroom, then the 25th chocolate would be yours. You are a part of the learning system. You are not a teacher in the classroom. You are a part of the learning system. You are a part of the group which is learning. You will have to do all the activities along with the children. You will have to sing. You will have to jump. You will have to do. You will have to cut the paper. You will have to stick the paper. If you do this, then you are a mentor. So it has to be activity-based learning. If you're talking about plants, if you're talking about domestic animals, you need to bring all those puppets of domestic animals in the classroom, toys in the classroom. You prepare a classroom learning center. At the back of your class, you put two tables, you get a cardboard, you put mud in the cardboard and you prepare a small dog house. You put a dog doll, keep a dog doll there. You prepare a tree using waste material. You prepare a nest. You put a bird in that. You prepare a cow shed and you prepare a cow toy in it. You make sure that all the domestic animals are there in your classroom. And you tell the children to pick up a cow when you're talking about cow. You pick up a dog when I'm talking about dog in my domestic animal class. You draw that. You cut a big cardboard. And when I say you make a flashcard of a cow, please do not make a flashcard which is of a size of a stamp. It has to be as big as your blackboard. It has to be as big as your blackboard. Get a cardboard, get a refrigerator cardboard, throw one outside which is lying somewhere, cut it in the shape of a cow, paint it, hang it to the wall. The cow is as big as a blackboard. Imagine when you're teaching, these are the ears, these are the eyes, these are the legs, this is the stomach. Cut an elephant. This is the two tusks. This is a trunk. This is a ear. These are the four legs which are so fat. You can't get an animal. If you have a TV, a 42-inch TV or a 60-inch TV, then you could show them on a YouTube. If you don't have it, you have a blackboard. You cut a cardboard which into a size of a blackboard, and keep a big elephant in the classroom. Let it be there for the rest of the year. Brainstorming session next. Ask questions. Brainstorm. Keep in the first 5 minutes. I'm going to ask them questions. Children, where have you been in the last summer vacations? Where did you go? The last summer vacation was COVID. So they would not answer. Probably, where had you been 2 years before the summer vacation? Ma'am, I had been to Delhi. Ma'am, I had been to Bangalore. I had been to a place. I had been to a village, ma'am, to see my grandparents. What all did you see in the village? I saw a cow, I saw a donkey, I saw a horse, I saw a dog, I had a cat. What animals did you see? I've seen this. What is the animal which you see in your place, near your house? Or what is the animal which you have at home? I don't have any animal at home, ma'am. Okay, what is the animal which a neighbor has got? Ma'am, a neighbor has got a cat, ma'am. What is the color of the cat? How does the cat walk? What is the sound of the cat? Does the cat bark? Or does the cat say meow? Questions, brainstorming sessions have to come. Strategies. We are discussing the strategies. Curiosity. This is another strategy which you need to adapt. Okay, let me tell you a story. There was a thirsty crow which was flying and it didn't get water. It got tired, it was very thirsty, it sat on a wall, it sat on a hut looking for water. Then somebody told that there was a lake nearby and the crow started flying towards the lake. And when it reached the lake, the crow was very unhappy because there was no water in the lake. What did the crow do now? What did the crow do now? Okay, the time is up. I'll tell you the remaining story tomorrow morning when I come back to the class. Curiosity. What happened to the crow? Did the crow drink water? Did the crow die because of water? The children are curious. If you are a storyteller, and if you could keep the curiosity, then the class would become more interesting and they would wait for this teacher. Or this teacher is going to come back and tell me a story today, so let me wait. The teacher is going to sing a rhyme and she's going to dance. I want to see the teacher dancing. If you feel ashamed, if you feel shy, remember they are your children. You close the door, you close the windows of your classroom and then you dance to the tune of the rhyme. Nowadays it is so easy, you could just play the rhyme on your Android mobile phone, put it to the loudspeaker and sing along with the children with the YouTube player, and you could dance and sing with the children. You make a circle and use a kerchief and say Ringa Ringa Roses. A rhyme called Ringa Ringa Roses. I don't know how many of you know this rhyme. If you don't know, please go back to Google, YouTube. Pick up this rhyme. It's a very interesting game and a very interesting rhyme for children. Children sit in a circle and one boy is running around the circle using a handkerchief, singing Ringa Ringa Roses. Or you can sing any rhyme there. It doesn't matter. The different rhymes you get with the music, with the tones, keep the curiosity that okay, today we have to learn this, today we have to learn this, today I'm going to talk about animals, today I'm going to talk about cat, today I'm going to talk about food. Ma'am, my favorite food. Yes, your favorite food I'm going to talk about. Develop the curiosity in the children. Keep that curiosity for the children. Like you watch a movie, a sequel 1 and sequel 2 is coming. What will happen in sequel 2? Curious. Nowadays, this curiosity is more into watching the serials for most of the ladies. What is going to happen in the next? Tomorrow, what is going to happen? The whole day the gossip is there. You know, yesterday, did you see that serial? You saw the way the girl was talking in that. You saw the way the boy was behaving. What will happen tomorrow? Everybody has got their own theories. Tomorrow this will happen, that will happen. ये होता वो serial में, ये होता वो serial में. The director comes up with a different strategy altogether. Nobody would have expected. End of the 30 minutes, there is an accident which is shown. What would happen to the hero? मर गया? Hospital गया? क्या हुआ? Tomorrow, next day, the serial, in the 30-minute serial, the director shows that the hero gets up and walks off home. कुछ भी मार नहीं लगा. In the director's imagination. So the children's imagination, they are imagining and they are sitting quiet, curiously sitting, discussing. You remember, did you listen to ma'am's rhyme today, the ma'am's story today? What happens? What will happen to that? Tomorrow, what will happen in the story? What will happen to the crow? पानी मिलता कि नहीं मिलता? This is the curiosity which we need to keep when you are teaching. So there are 6 different strategies. There are a lot of other strategies which I would discuss as we go with the lesson planning. The very first one being the knowledge. The second one being the planning. Lesson plan becomes very important. We will break up in the next session on the different parts in the lesson plan and how do you write lesson plan. It has to be activity based. It has to be more hands-on learning. Remember the class holistic approach. It's 2H. Hands. It has to be the head. It has to be the heart. It has to be 3rd H of Benjamin Bloom. That is the hands. Hands-on learning experience has to happen. You need to give, you need to give, you need to give the children the experience of learning. So learning experience, let them do it. Let them not just see and learn. Let them not just hear and learn. Let them just not listen and learn. Let them do it. Let them watch it. Let them observe it. Let them experience it. Let them speak. Let them hear. Let them use all the senses before they learn. We don't even know from which sense they would learn the best. So create that activity based learning. Do a lot of brainstorming and keep that curiosity when you're teaching in the classroom. Then that would be your best part. So we'll come back again in the next module and go deep into how and what kind of lesson planning do we do. Thank you. Now for the assignment. Now these assignments are completely oral. You don't have to do anything, any writing part on this. The assignment here is what activities do you do in your classroom? The foundation teachers, or if there are any teachers who are teaching in middle school and primary preparatory classes, you also have to record what activities do you do in your classroom. Different activities we do storytelling sessions, we do circle time, we do reading sessions, we play games, we teach them different sports and activities. List them all. I want you to list minimum at least 10 of them and explain one activity, only one activity. If you take up circle time, explain how do you do a circle time. This is oral. You will explain it. You will not write it down. You will explain it. It may be a 3 minute or a 4 minute or a 5 minute explanation. Explain it, record it, and then forward it, attach it into the Google Classroom. This is an oral question, and you have to record this in your own voice and send it to me. The next question is, how do you plan your class? What is the planning you do for your class? Explain with an example. Like 40 minutes you are teaching numbers. What is the plan you do? If you are teaching domestic animals, what is the plan you do? If you are teaching a rhyme, what is the plan you do? If you are teaching alphabet, what is the plan you do? If you are teaching phonic sounds, what is the plan you do? If you are teaching number names, what is the plan you do? Or if you are teaching general knowledge, or if you are teaching EVS, something related to weathers, it's summer, it's a winter, it's a rainy season, what is the plan you would do? So how do you plan your class? Explain with an example. This is again an oral question which you have to record in your own voice and attach it in the Google Classroom. These are the two assignments which you would have for this module. I hope I am very clear. Please make sure that these two assignments are oral. We'll come back to you again in our lesson plan module number 2, lesson plan module 2 in the next class. Thank you.